Okay. Okay. So we are live. Can anybody hear me? Can you see me? How does it look? Streamlabs is somewhat limited, but for the moment, this is the best way for me to do streams. All right. Looks like we're good. Looks like we're working. All right. So, is everybody ready? Oh, really, Pigeon? Well, that's just weird, man. Thank you, T-Man. It's not completely done yet. It's close. I need to decorate it. All right. So, here's what we're going to do. We've got 9 days until the NFL draft. We also have the fourth wave of free agency. So, we're going to talk about it. And tonight's stream, we're going to go for probably a couple hours, maybe even a little longer. We'll see. So, here's what we're going to do. In a couple minutes here, I'm going to post a link in chat. I'm going to post a link in chat. You can use the link to call in. And we can talk for a minute. You can give your takes on what's going to happen, what has happened, what you want to happen, what you don't want to happen. And we're going to have fun. I do allow people to call in through Discord as well, but if you do that, you won't be able to hear people on Streamlabs or StreamYard because you're not going to be on the same connection. So having a three-way conversation between someone on Discord, me, and somebody on StreamYard is hard. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and get going. All right, so we got like 7 people in here. I know that there are going to be more people coming in as the night goes on. Let me throw out the flag on Discord. Okay. One note, I'm not going to be able to get to everybody immediately. You're going to have to wait in a line sometimes. That's just the way it is. So there is the link in chat. I will be reposting it periodically, but it's on you guys to be able to figure out how to get it to work for you. Work with your webcam and or microphone. Well, at least your microphone. I'm going to be taking people 2 at a time, assuming we get enough people to do that. And then we're going to go from there. Okay. Looks like we got our first. I'm going to go ahead and bring in a couple of people. I have Ethan's Tech World. Ethan's Tech World, welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
We are also going to be bringing in Ryguy.
Welcome. Got this hat a few weeks ago at the
Very nice.
Dix, so.
Oh, it's the old one, isn't it? It's the old logo.
Yep, the old logo.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yep.
Okay, so Ethan's Tech World, we're about 5 or 6 weeks through free agency. We've got 9 days before the draft. How are you feeling about where the Seahawks offseason is sitting right now?
I'm feeling pretty good about it. Like it was this offseason has done a lot more than I even thought, and we rightly got rid of a lot of our needs in free agency. But we can still improve in the draft, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm as the days go on, leading up to the draft, I'm getting more, and I'm thinking more and more that we're going to do a trade back maybe with that second pick. But if there's somebody right there that we can take, then I think we should do it. But I think a trade back will happen with one of our three.
I don't think we really have a need to trade up really any in this draft because we have a lot of those positions figured out.
It depends on who's there. There are some guys who I really like in this draft, and if they're there at 56, I don't want to trade back. Right. Eric Stokes is one example. Samuel Cosme is one example. I don't know if these guys are going to be there, but if they are, I would have a very hard time trading back and not getting those players. So,
right.
Yeah. So, Ryguy, how about you? How do you feel about the offseason?
Mixed bag like everything else. I like some of our free agent signings. However, I do think we gave way too much term and way too much money to Lockett, but that was a massive extension. Bringing back Carson kind of figures one thing out. I don't know if I like the money, but you can get around the salary cap fairly easily in the NFL by cutting a couple bench warmers or sending them down to the practice squad. That could work, but I don't think we have that much that we need to fix in the draft. What? Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So, Ethan, I know you said you wanted to trade back, but this draft, I know we only have 3 picks, which is half as many picks as the second fewest picks is. Ryguy will probably be back. He had to go deal with something. But I don't know if you follow like players. I don't know if you follow college football. But is there anybody out there you really like that makes sense to you?
Yeah, I'm not super close with following college football, but like as the days lead up to the months lead up to the draft, I'll get more familiar with certain people, especially at the higher position needs, like cornerback and wide receiver. I like the wide receivers. If there's a really good wide receiver in the second round, then I'd rather do that and try and get maybe a cornerback in the 4th round, because I think the mid-tier cornerbacks are better than the mid-tier wide receivers.
Yeah, I tend to agree, especially for the defense that we run. And if Carroll's good at one thing, I think Carroll is not very good at a lot of things at this point in his career, but one thing he should still be good at is grooming cornerback talent.
Right.
He did it with Sherman, Browner, Maxwell. He did it to a certain extent, he did it to Shaq because Shaq was a late 3rd round pick. He did it with Trey Flowers because Trey Flowers was playing out of position. This is kind of what he does. He takes these cornerback talents that nobody else valued and gets pretty good stuff out of them. So
totally. And although it's still up in the air with Aldon Smith, and good thing he wasn't going to play like a huge significant role, like a Dunlap, for instance, having that flexibility at pass rush will only make that secondary better.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. I want to draft offense with that 2nd round or early 3rd round pick, because I feel like we have started to get to the point where I'm wondering if we're neglecting the offense in favor of building up the defense. Because if you look at what we've done this offseason, we brought in a bunch of different pass rushers. We signed Ahkello Witherspoon. We've been working on building up that defensive line and that defense. And meanwhile, the only 2 significant signings we have on offense are replacing guys who retired in Mike Upati and Greg Olsen. We had to replace those guys. But I'm starting to wonder if, we don't have a reliable number 3 receiver. We don't have a great number 2 tight end. We still have Posick at center. I am starting to feel like maybe it's time to start spending these resources on offense.
Yeah, it was like that, at the start we got Everett and Jackson, and then it kind of went really heavily on defensive pickups. And then we haven't really seen much more of the offense aside from, players we've already had, like Lockett.
Yeah, and Carson. We did bring Carson back, but
I love that. I love that contract because it's really a win-win if he fits in the scheme. It's not a huge contract, and if he doesn't, it's not that big of a deal to get him out.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna bring in TJ here. TJ, what's up, man?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, what's up?
Having a pretty good night, man. Having a pretty good night. So you've been on this call-in stream before, I think, so you know how this works. I'm gonna ask you. We're about 5-6 weeks through free agency. A lot of stuff has happened, and now we're 9 days before the draft. How do you feel about where things are right now?
To be honest, I'm kind of shocked, and it goes back from last offseason, how we had all that money, didn't do anything, and now this offseason, we barely had anything, and we're making all these moves. So I'm just shocked that we are able to do it.
Yeah, I think it goes to show you that cap space doesn't mean that much. You can always find ways around cap space problems. And this team has done a great job of doing that. I don't know what happened last year because you're absolutely right. We had plenty of money last year and we just decided, either we're not going to use it or we're going to use it on stuff that isn't going to help us. We gave $7 million to Greg Olson and we gave $3 million to Mike Upati, and both those guys were retired by the end of the year because they struggled that much. So I don't know what happened last year, but the team seems to have woken up a little bit. And maybe it was just because Wilson finally was like, okay, you guys better do something serious or else I'm not going to want to be here anymore. But the team got the message. Okay. So, Ethan, I'm going to go back to you here. You said that you expect the Seahawks to trade back. My question to you would be, do you want them to trade back? Because this is something I've discussed a little bit in the past, and I want to know what you think of it.
Well, I want it's difficult because you don't want them to trade back if there is like a wide receiver right there at maybe the second round, or I keep forgetting his name. Israel
Mukuamu. He's probably a fourth rounder, but yeah.
Yeah, I like that guy a lot. If those two are there at those rounds, I don't really want to trade back. But also, like, you don't have more picks. But I'd rather have, especially in the first two rounds, because the last one is almost whatever. But the first two that we have, I'd rather have two maybe day one starters or mid-season than a bunch of picks in like the 5th round or 6th round, and we have a lot of picks all of a sudden.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel. We're trying to win a Super Bowl right now. We're not trying to win it in 3 years. We're not trying to win the Super Bowl in 3 years. We're trying to win the Super Bowl now. So guys who are going to chill out on the practice squad for 2 years are not doing anything for me because I'm trying to win now. If we were the Jaguars and we were one of the worst teams in the league and we were trying to build a contender to win in 2 to 3 years, then yeah, I would be totally fine with trading back to get more picks and to let Freddie Swain be the number 3 receiver and let Colby Parkinson be the tight end, because we're trying to figure out if those guys are good. But
yeah, like, I like thinking about the future and all, like, but you have to find a happy balance with that, and we're right at the point where we are trying to win now. So I think you have to shift that future stuff to a lot more over to the now.
Okay, TJ, we're 9 days away from the draft. So let me ask you, what are you targeting in this draft? And do you have any players in mind? I don't know if you follow the draft really closely, follow college football really closely, but from whatever your perspective is, what are you targeting in this draft in 9 days?
Well, I would want to trade down as much as possible, but my first pick that I would actually draft first would be probably a center if there was somebody there. Or maybe, actually, no, not corner, because there's plenty of them down the road. I'm going to go center or maybe some kind of linebacker.
Okay. Yeah, center's kind of interesting, right? Because we obviously can get better at center. I'm not in love with some of the centers in this class, so I have some concerns about that. I looked at a lot of the top centers, and it seemed like they all played in a phone booth, and that's the kind of thing I'm trying to stay away from. I don't think that's what we're necessarily looking for. And as for linebacker, that all really kind of depends on what happens with Aldon Smith, I feel like, because we have a lot of depth on that defensive front. But if Aldon Smith goes out, maybe we change things a little bit. Real quick, I want to address something in the chat here. I'm getting a couple people saying the link is not working for them. It's working for quite a few people so far, so I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, keep trying it, guys. I'm seeing a queue build up, so it's working for some people at least. So I don't know what to say about that. All right. Ethan, I'll go back to you. How about free agency? Because there are still free agents out there. We're obviously all in draft mode right now, but would you like to maybe utilize free agency to bring in maybe one or two more players? Does anybody who catches your eye at this point?
Well, the thing that I've been kind of going back and forth with free agency and the draft is that center position. Similarly with a few others that we're going to target in the draft, I think we can do better, especially with Posick. Like I think he had a good stretch last year, but it's weird because you might want to get a new center, but if he doesn't work in your scheme, he can be a lot worse than what he really is. So I don't really know about center in free agency. Like there was the guy from the Chiefs, but I don't know what's going on with him. Like why he isn't picked up.
Yeah, I'm suspicious of that. Maybe people are thinking, oh, he's just a product of Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. I don't know, but it's very kind of odd that he's not on a team yet because every other center is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't want to pick for any need of ours. I don't want to pick up someone that may seem really good, but they don't work in our scheme, and that really brings down their skill set on our team, basically.
Right. So, TJ, you were talking about centers, like Ethan was just talking about centers. You talked a little bit about centers when you were up. Do you have a specific couple of centers in mind that you would like to go for, or is it just more of like a general thing where you want to get whoever is best when it's our turn to pick?
Probably just whoever's there because Landon, what's his name?
Landon Dickerson.
Landon Dickerson. If he's there, yes, the injury, but I mean, he's just one of the best centers in my opinion in this draft, and if he can fall that far, then that's just somebody you have to grab.
Yeah, it's a draft where I don't expect any centers to get drafted in the first round. I think the top two centers are pretty clearly Creed Humphrey and Landon Dickerson, and I think both of those guys go in the second. So that's kind of an interesting wrinkle going on there. It's not a great draft for centers, and the centers that are actually potentially special as rookies are not exactly the kind of talent I want. I know people are talking about Quinn Miners. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I'm not seeing that one. But that's a discussion for another time. All right, Ethan, anything else you want to say while you're on the air?
With center, if someone is like so good, kind of like another person at their position, they should be able to work in. They should be able to be flexible with what scheme they're working on or working in. So I don't know if there's anybody like that. I don't know if Landon Dickerson is like that. But
Landon Dickerson's very good at what he does. So is Creed Humphrey. The concern with Landon Dickerson is that he's already torn his ACL like 18 times. It's disgusting how many times that dude has been hurt because he's a really good player, and it's unfortunate that he isn't able to stay healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So center is weird because we also want to get a wide receiver and a cornerback and maybe a tight end.
Mhm.
So if someone is really, really good there, it's a little hard to tell right now because anybody can fall to where we are. We'll have to see.
All right, Ethan. Thanks for coming out tonight, man.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to bring in, this is one of my elite members. It's ItsHoof, and I think he was on the call last time we did this, so he knows how this works. ItsHoof, are you there?
I am here.
All right. Good to have you on, buddy. So, just in a general sense, we are about 6 weeks through free agency, or coming up on 6 weeks, and we are 9 days away from the draft. How do you feel about where the Seahawks stand right now?
I mean, with Alden Smith, with the recent news, not as good as it was about a day ago, or 2 days ago, or whatever. But still pretty good. I don't want to take the hit too hard because we already thought our good line was going to be good enough without him. So I'm just trying not to, take it too hard.
It takes away some of our flexibility. I think it might mean that we end up putting a Darrell Taylor back at defensive end instead of linebacker. It might mean that we put Rasheem Green back at 5 tech. We don't know exactly how it's going to affect the defense, but there's going to be some sort of domino effect there. But yeah, it was still a good offseason regardless. Okay, T-Man. So the draft is almost here, but we still have free agents out there that people are talking about. Sherman, KJ Wright, Melvin Ingram, Golden Tate, Antonio Brown. Who is on your mind in terms of a free agent we could bring in? Maybe even 2. TJ, you there?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I was still muted.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind bringing in Antonio Brown. I wouldn't mind bringing back Sherman. Sheldon Richardson, I wouldn't mind bringing back, but
there's one.
Yeah, that's a money issue on that.
Money can always be gotten around.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing like another safety in, and then maybe somehow trade Quandre Diggs for more picks, because that could possibly be interesting.
People have kind of forgotten that as a possibility, because I remember people saying, we could trade Quandre Diggs, kind of, buy low, sell high, try to get more than we gave up to get him, and then move on from there. Because right now we probably have the best safeties in the league, and you don't need to have the best safeties in the league. You can just get by with good safeties if you really want to. So that's a very viable possibility. I don't think it's one that this team is really going to be looking towards, but it is interesting regardless. And the thing is, if you trade Quandre Diggs, you still have Marquise Blair, and he's a natural safety, so it might be him. All right, so it's Hoof. Go back to you. Who are you targeting in this draft? I don't know if you've been watching all my videos scouting out prospects, but I assume you have some idea of what we're looking at. So,
my general thought is sign a receiver. Don't go after a receiver in the draft in any capacity. It seems like a waste of a pick almost. When there's still like a person like Dede Westbrook out there who'd probably sign for super cheap.
I like
Dede.
Dede.
Scheme well,
I like Dede.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of difficult. Landon Dickerson is not going to be there, I don't think. I could see him going late first, early second. So I'll have to look into it more, honestly. I'm more of a free agent guy.
Yeah, it can depend. We see rookies come in and contribute big time as rookies frequently, and sometimes you don't. I feel like there are certain positions where you're more likely to be able to get a rookie who contributes than others, but it happens all the time at every position. Like, I feel like we've had a lot of success with rookie cornerbacks over the years, so I don't mind bringing in a rookie cornerback. Have we had a lot of success with rookie wide receivers? Kind of with Lockett and kind of with Baldwin. Baldwin was a million years ago, but I can kind of feel that like AB is still out there, and AB is going to be better than any rookie you can get.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, TJ, anything else you wanted to discuss before tonight before we hop off?
Yeah, I just have one thing. We all know that I don't even remember the last time we went into a draft with less than like 6 picks coming out. So either we're gonna trade somebody or we're gonna trade down because 3 picks is not gonna happen. There has to be.
I'm sure we will find a way to get more picks. I just don't know exactly how. I will say this though, and I don't know if you agree or not, TJ, but I think we're just a couple pieces away. So give me one really good piece instead of 8 okay ones, Just give me that one really good piece in the draft who will make a big contribution as a rookie, and I'll take that over a bunch of practice squatters, Because I think this team is very close to being able to go compete for a Super Bowl. I really do.
Yeah, because there's not like one main hole on this team where we have to address it now. Like there's holes in our team, but it can still be done with free agency or late round picks. It's not like we have to address it like a main need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like tackle is one of those spots where we're kind of playing with fire because Dwayne Brown is 80 million years old and Brandon Shell gets hurt sometimes too. So we are kind of playing with fire there, but we don't have to address it right this moment. I think it would be a good idea, but probably should kick it a year forward if there is no opportunity to do it. Yeah. So thank you for coming on tonight, TJ. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, see you later. All right. Costa Rican is in the queue, but he needs to connect his microphone. It looks like your microphone's not connected. So Costa Rican, if you can hear this. Oh, there we go. Okay, good.
I can hear it.
All right, Costa Rican sports fan, welcome. How you doing tonight?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So, general question: how do you feel about where the team sits right now? 9 days short of the draft, 6 weeks into free agency.
I'd say this team has done pretty good in free agency, especially comparing it to last year. We've made enough moves. I think the biggest hole is receiver or corner. I would have liked to there's a Spanish. I would have liked to gotten Blythe at free agency. Especially, has he signed yet?
And Blythe signed with the Chiefs for like a veteran minimum contract.
Yeah, I mean, we could have gotten that instead of Posick.
Blythe is he's actually a lot cheaper than Posick. I think Blythe, Kansas City is his hometown, so he wanted to go there anyway, so that might have been tough to beat. But yeah, in general, there were opportunities for us to get a better center than Posick. Like, for instance, you could have gotten, I'm not going to say Lindsley because he was so expensive, but you could have gotten Andrews. You could have gotten Ed Karras. You could have gotten Rodney Hudson, and you didn't decide to do it. So maybe the team just likes Posick, and we just all have to accept that either they're going to find out the hard way that he's really bad, or they know something about him that we don't. So I don't think we're drafting a center in this draft because I don't think the fit is there, but I'm keeping an eye out for it for sure. Yeah. All right. ItsHoof. So a lot of people talking about centers tonight, and I'm going to go to you now. How good do you think Posick is? Because there's a wide range of takes on how good Ethan Posick is. What's your take on him as a player?
Well, first things first, every time you bring up Posick in the Discord, the chat lights up with about 50 messages saying how trash or how amazing he can be. It's like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's one of the hottest points of contention in the fandom.
I kind of feel like, realistically, he's not that bad if he can stay healthy. I mean, there was definitely chances to upgrade that we didn't take, which is a little bit frustrating, but I think he's fine.
Yeah, I think you can live with one somewhat weak spot on the offensive line. It's kind of unfortunate that we kind of have two because Shell isn't great either, although maybe Shell's a little better than I give him credit for. Shell could be worse. Shell could be worse.
Definitely.
Yeah, but all right, so let me see here. ItsHoof, anything else you kind of wanted to go over tonight?
Whether we talk about it right now or you talk about it the next person, you should talk about restructuring Russell Wilson at this point and just committing all the way.
Okay, I'll go ahead and address that right now here real quick. I feel like we have to because we have money on the books that isn't been accounted for yet, and one of the ways we can account for that is to restructure Wilson's contract. I don't know how else we can make it work. We have to either restructure Wilson or restructure Wagner, and I will rather restructure Wilson any day of the week. So I think it's going to happen. It has to. Remember, we're on the hook for $2.5 million in rookie draft pick salary and probably a few million more in UDFA salary. So whatever you see on those over the cap websites, add 5 to 6 million to it because it doesn't count the rookies yet. So the money is not there unless you restructure Wilson or you restructure or you extend Jamal Adams and extend Quandre Diggs. One of the two. Now, I expect us to extend Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
But that's going to save you like 3 to 4 million. Where's the rest of it coming from? I don't think you can find it anywhere else other than restructuring Wilson.
Yep. Plus, with that, you could do so much with that extra money that you have. Like, we still have holes. We still have a couple spots. And we are so close.
Yeah.
So close.
Absolutely. You restructure Wilson, you might be able to go get Sherman. You might be able to go get a Sam linebacker. You might be able to go get Sheldon Richardson. The possibilities are pretty big. So that's my take on the Wilson restructuring thing. He's going to get restructured. He is.
Would you rather get Geno Atkins or Sheldon Richardson?
Well, in a vacuum, Sheldon Richardson. Geno Atkins did not play last year, really. But Geno Atkins would be much cheaper. So if you account for money, I think you kind of have to, yeah.
Plus, we already have somewhat decent depth, so it doesn't really matter all that much.
Yeah, and also people forget this, I think, but Sheldon Richardson did not leave on the best of terms a few years ago when he left Seattle.
That's what I've been saying, and people just don't really seem to care.
I mean, he could probably get over it. Like players get over it, whatever. They're all millionaires; they'll get over it. But I do have that in the back of my head because we have the same regime. It's the same coordinators. It's the same coaches and GM. So I don't know. Yeah, but thank you for coming out tonight, Hoof. I appreciate it. I'll be seeing you in YouTube and on the Discord.
Of course.
Okay, we're going to bring in somebody on the Discord now. This is, you guys know him as Washi, and he's going to be a little out of sync with you, Costa Rican, so just be aware of that. I don't think you're going to be able to hear him, and he won't be able to hear you, but he couldn't get the StreamYard to work, so just be aware of that.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right, Washi, you are on. Can you hear me? All right, man. So, how do you feel about where this team stands? We're 9 days away from the draft. We're 6 weeks deep into free agency. How do you feel? Yeah. Okay, first, before I answer that, okay, it looks like the chat can't hear you. Let me think about this then. Okay, I know what we can do. Okay, I know you guys can't see him, but let me. Okay, I know what I can do to get around this real quick. Okay. Okay, you guys should be able to hear him now. Sorry about that. If you guys still can't hear him after I did what I just did, just let me know. But Anyway, okay, so yeah, I have basically 7 players who I want to take on 56, where if they're there, I don't want to trade down. So the list I had, let me pull it up real quick. If you've been watching all my draft prospect videos, you will know, but it's basically Dyami Brown, Eric Stokes, Efiatu Melifonwu, Pat Freiermuth, Dylan Radnun, Samuel Cosme, and Jalen Mayfield. Those are guys who, if they are there, I don't want to trade down. I just want to take them and move on.
Or use the second round pick on an offensive player that can really like make something happen, you know? Like DK was really good in his rookie season. I want a good receiver or something like that, or a tackle that can come fill in for Dwayne Brown. But yeah, I would probably, for the draft, I think the draft is what's important right now, and I don't think this team is going to sign any free agents until the draft is over.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, even if we do sign it, Antonio Brown, I'd still rather go and get a receiver, because the top needs that we have is corner. I'd say Sam linebacker doesn't really matter in my opinion, so I don't even count that as a need.
Yeah.
Then I maybe 5 tech, but you can just get an undrafted free agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Or 5 tech. Yeah, I think our D-line coach is pretty good with. I think he's pretty good. I don't know. I just think he's pretty good, honestly. And I think Corbin Smith, he said the D-line coach is pretty good, and I think he coaches up young players pretty well, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think, I just think that we just gotta address things in the draft, and then any like leftover things, depth problems that we have, we can just go address that through free agency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, even if we sign Antonio Brown, we are one injury away from being back in Paintown, because if you like Freddie Swain, I know there are some people out there who are probably listening to this video right now who like Freddie Swain, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with Freddie Swain, but I don't know if I want him to be a crucial part of the team this year when we're trying to win a Super Bowl. He's just a guy to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so Costa Rican. I don't know if you follow the draft process super closely. I don't know if you follow college football closely, but who do you have in mind 9 days before the draft for the Seahawks?
College, I don't really follow, almost not at all. I've tried, but I think it's just not for me.
Okay, that's fair.
I would just go like a general, what's the word? General mindset of the positions I'm trying to target, like corner, wide receiver, centers. But again, I don't really like the centers in this draft.
Yeah, that's kind of been my findings as well. The question that people always answer, and I know that Washi has a strong take on this as well, and he may voice it before the end of this call. We don't need to spend a lot of picks on corner because we have a coach who has an established history of doing a really good job of turning out great talent in the later rounds. If in the draft at all, like Brandon Browner was undrafted and he made a Pro Bowl here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would most likely go receiver round 2.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping the right receiver's there, because there are some guys that I really like. There's one guy that I really, really like. And I feel like if you got a receiver better than Freddie Swain and put him into the offense, he would probably have like 700, 750 yards as a rookie and really leave his impact on the team. I don't know if you can say that about any a cornerback we can draft, because there are going to be good corners in the 4th. There are even going to be good corners in the 6th, honestly.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time
with Carroll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And
Carroll.
This is a hot take, but I wouldn't like to bring in Antonio Brown because he's a guy that'll want the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And we need a wide receiver 3, not a wide receiver 1. I don't think he will be a nice fit with this team.
That is a concern. He is somebody who's definitely going to want the ball. I mean, DK is going to want the ball. He's already shown that he's a guy who will demand the ball if he feels like he wants it. If he feels like he can get it, he will demand it. And you just gave Lockett all that money. You got to get him the ball. Gerald Everett's in a contract year. He's going to want the ball. So, yeah, you're right. It does get tough. I think that if you run the offense effectively and efficiently and sensibly, you could do it. But that's not necessarily the Pete Carroll way. That's not necessarily something we've done a great job of doing in the past. Okay, let's see here. Washi, I'm going to go back to you. So I know you're somebody who doesn't want to spend a top pick on a corner because you believe in our ability to develop lesser corners in the draft. And you also really like this cornerback class. So,
yeah.
So, do you have any specific targets in mind in the second round beyond the ones I just said? Is there anybody you like? I know you've done some studying here.
I can't even pronounce his name. It's the Israel.
Mukuamu.
Yeah, that guy.
Mukuamu. Yeah.
Yeah. Him. I think he's huge. By the way, I think he's talented, but the one problem that I saw with him is that him, like when he turns his hips, it's not that fast. But I feel like Carroll can put him in a good position to overcome that, and I think he can just coach him up. I think if the corners that we draft are talented, Carroll can just coach them up to fulfill their potential.
Right.
Other guy that I have, this is not someone that I studied, but this is someone on Twitter, Brett Coleman, does a lot of film studies. He tweeted saying, watching Jason Pinnock this afternoon, and if that dude isn't a future Seahawks corner, then I don't know who is. 6'1", 250 pounds, 4.49 speed, and 39.5 vert and 32.5 inch arms, and excels in zone coverage. So I think, he does a lot of film studies. I think he has like 400K subs on YouTube. So I guess I trust him. So I think he's pretty good. I think this guy might be good. I never heard of him, so probably maybe like a 5th, 6th round pick, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there are a lot of corners in this draft who you could call a future Seahawk corner. There are a lot of them. Benjamin St. Just was another guy. He looks like a future Seahawk corner. Keith Taylor Jr. from Washington. There are a lot of them. Revry wants to know, what was the corner's name? Could you repeat it, Washi?
Jason Pinnock.
Okay, Jason Pinnock. All right. All right. So, Costa Rican. I'll go back to you here real quick. You said you didn't want Antonio Brown. I think that the Seahawks, once they restructure Wilson, if they haven't already, will have enough money to go get somebody, though. So who do you want to get? Because there are guys out there.
I'd like Westbrook because he's cheap. He'd be a fine wide receiver 3, which is what I think we're looking for. I don't think he will be this guy that will want the ball this much. And yeah, Antonio Brown sat behind Evans and Godwin. But why did he do that? Well, if he demanded something, in my opinion, he was gone. And he was trying to prove himself to try to get a contract next year. And
yeah, I mean, numbers attached to a wide receiver can sometimes be a little misleading. Like some people, when they think wide receiver 3, they think slot receiver because the two outside guys are 1 and 2. But a lot of the times the slot receiver gets targeted more than the number 1 and number 2 receiver. So just because AB comes here as a quote unquote wide receiver 3 doesn't mean he wouldn't get targeted a lot. He would hopefully get targeted as much as he gets open. Hopefully, Wilson would be able to find whoever's open and make things happen from there.
Yeah. I'd still be cautious on AB. Yeah, he has a lot of talent, but he's a loose cannon.
Yeah, he is, and it can go wrong. Some people in chat are saying Golden Tate. Golden Tate could go wrong. I think Golden Tate could go very wrong. That might be dead on arrival, actually. But I think this team can afford to take a risk of some sort because we have money. Sherman would be a risk, but maybe we make that happen in its own way. And people may disagree with me. I wonder if KJ Wright would be a risk because he's not going to be very happy with the fact that he had a good season last year and still can't get any money from anybody.
Well, he's old as heck.
Yeah, he's old, but he played a really good season. I know he hit free agency thinking I'm going to get $15-20 million. And now it looks like he might not even be able to get $2 million. That's going to wear on a guy. I am wondering if I am wondering if he might kind of resent that a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to half-ass it, but he might not whole-ass it, as they say. Okay, so Washi. Oh, okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Costa Rican. Sorry.
I'd be like kind of okay with giving AB a 1-year deal, but nothing more. I don't want to lock him up big time. I don't want to have that potential to, screw everything up with him being a loose cannon, him demanding the ball. We also have DK who will demand the ball. We also have Lockett who got paid a crap ton, will demand the ball. Like as you said, I don't want to get stuck with that long term.
I don't think AB is getting big money. If he was going to get big money, there would be a bunch of teams trying to bid him. But it seems like right now there is only really one team that's actually bidding for him. So I don't expect him to get a bunch of money. All right. So Washi, I'm going to go back to you. How do you feel about the free agents? I know you have thoughts on, the Shermans. I know you already said AB, but what do you think about some of the other guys? Sherman, Westbrook, KJ, Melvin Ingram. Do you have any takes on any of those guys?
For Sherman, I don't know. I don't really think. I think if we bring him on like a 1-year deal and he's cheap, like $5 million, $6 million, which I know is not going to happen, I'd be down to bring him back. But I don't think that Sherman can be the answer to our corner issues. And honestly, I don't even think corner is a big issue, but I'd rather just get a corner in the draft because I want to have that corner that is with us for cheap for the next couple of years. I don't want to be stuck with a bunch of corners that are only going to stay here for 1-year deals. That's just going to be annoying. And every draft or free agency, we're going to have to deal with that. So, and then for KJ, I don't really care if we bring him back or not. As long as he's cheap, I don't really care. And then for Westbrook, I don't really know anything about him.
He's like a very typical slot receiver. He's kind of small and shifty, and he put up pretty decent numbers with garbage quarterbacks in Jacksonville.
I mean, sure. I guess we could sign him. I don't really know.
I mean, he's going to cost like $3, so it can't be the worst idea in the world.
I mean, it's like, why not?
Yeah.
If you can get more receiver depth, why not just do it? And with AB, I kind of disagree. By the way, I can hear the Costa Rican sports fan.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I can hear him. So for AB, I disagree with his take that he asked for the ball too much. I mean, I know he like in the Bucks, maybe he did get what he really wanted, but like even let's say he just does ask for the ball too much, it's not like it's gonna divide our locker or anything because we have like 5 good leaders in the locker room, and if they can't handle Antonio Brown, why would you have trust in these leaders that are on a team? And even if he does cause problems, you can just cut him. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, very true, very fair.
You can just bring him on because just why not? Just bring him on. He's good. He can be a game changer. And if someone gets injured like DK or Lockett, we still have another option.
Right. All right, Costa Rican, anything else you want to talk about real quick before we move along?
No, not really.
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming on tonight. Appreciate the support, and hope to see you next time we do.
Me.
All right, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, I am gonna bring in. Let me see here. This is Kyle Sicca. I think you're next. All right, Kyle, you there?
Yeah.
All right, good to have you on, man. Sorry about the long wait. It's just we are getting a pretty big queue building up.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, How do you feel about this team right now? Where we sit, how we're doing? We're obviously like I said, 6 weeks into free agency, 9 days before the draft. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I'm just a little worried about receiver right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are a couple different ways we can attack receiver. I don't know which one is your favorite, but there are a few different ways we can do that.
It's probably the draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you were the big fan of Rondell Moore.
Yeah, but he's probably too high now.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I don't think there's any way he's there for us. But
No.
once upon a time, people thought DK Metcalf was going to be a top 10 pick. So weird stuff does happen sometimes, but it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, I don't think he played last year in college, so he could slide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got some issues. It's not impossible. Yeah. All right, so okay, I'm gonna go back to Washi real quick here. So, anything else that you would want to talk about with regard to the Seahawks? Anything that you want us to do? Basically, is there anything else you want to say before we move on to the next callers?
I'm not sure. Hold on one sec.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure, but
so you're pretty happy with the way the team is right now?
Yeah, I guess, but I'm happy, but I think that we don't really need to address the D line anymore, even if Aldon Smith is gone, because I think even before Aldon Smith we never even signed Aldon Smith, and he never came up. Like everyone was already really happy about the D line, so like, and now people are like, oh no, we don't have any 5 techs, but we still have plenty of depth. We have like 7 defensive ends on the team, and that should be enough.
Oh,
and we can just get some. Yeah.
It's absolutely unfair to say we don't have any 5 techs. Kerry Hyder is a 5 tech. Rasheem Green is a 5 tech. LJ Collier can play 5 tech if needed to.
Yeah, and I also think that what was I going to say? Ah, frick. Okay, I forgot what I was going to say.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on tonight, Washi. It's appreciated. I will see you in the Discord. I will see you in the chats. And hope to talk to you soon, man. We'll probably do this again after the draft, so we can all talk about whatever we do in the draft. So see you then, man.
Okay, see you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to bring back on Ryguy here. You were on a little earlier. Ryguy.
Sorry.
You good.
I just had to go and have like dinner and stuff like that.
Yeah, you good. Don't worry about it.
For draft. Yeah, I know. I'm thinking for the draft, probably. I mean, this could be because I'm a Pac-12 fan, but I guess we could do Amon-Ra St. Brown in the draft as long as he keeps his stuff together.
Yeah. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, I like Amon-Ra St. Brown, actually. I'm a fan of his. He's one of my gold level prospects. I would be cool if we could trade back to the early 3rd and get him. I don't really want to take him at 56, but if you could trade back a little bit, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown has potential.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be like a top receiver. He may not even play a year that we draft him, but I guess he could work, but he also could completely fall apart.
Yeah, you could say that about pretty much any prospect, though.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, I know you said Rondell Moore, but of the players we could get, does anybody stand out to you? Who do you like?
I don't know if like Elijah Moore is gonna slide, but I kind of like him.
Yeah. So Elijah Moore, I've read a little bit about him. I know a little bit about him. He's another guy who I kind of think he might go to the Packers at the bottom end of the first, if you know.
Yeah.
Kadarius Toney was another guy who I think might go to the Packers in that range. So it just depends on when these receivers start going, because there are a lot of them.
Down.
Yeah, Green Bay could trade down, but
probably should, but they're trying to win a Super Bowl now, like we are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't want to trade down. But Kyle, okay, so that's kind of the draft. Do you? I know you're kind of a big supporter of bringing back Sherman. What's your take on that situation?
Yeah, I would bring him back and then have like Amadi in the slot and have Reed and Spoon maybe compete for like the other corner spot.
Yeah, it could get messy, but it would be very interesting if Sherman
signed
came
anywhere
back.
yet. I would have thought he could have signed in the Jets because of the Salah connection, but that hasn't happened yet. And the Jets are notorious for being free agent spenders.
I thought maybe he was going to go to the Saints because they've got some issues now with Marcus Lattimore getting in trouble. I thought that he maybe would just go back to the 49ers, but it's not.
Maybe we just give him like a $2 million contract. That could be a little low for him.
I mean, at this point, he's going to have to take whatever he can get, it seems like, because I don't think he's getting offers.
No,
I don't think anybody wants him. So, yeah, the Sherman stuff is very interesting.
And
Ryguy,
I think the reason why I was against Sherman resigning is because I just didn't think he was going to come back because of how it all ended back.
Yeah. I think players get over stuff a little easier than people like you and me because they're all millionaires. They're all living good lives. Yeah. I think they get over that kind of stuff pretty quickly.
I think he wanted to go back to where he went to college, too. That could also be a part. But
yeah, that's true. But, I mean, look, I'm not denying...
I know that.
Yeah, I'm not denying that the Sherman stuff ended messy and I wasn't happy with the way that whole thing went down. I wasn't. I'm still not happy with it, but I would absolutely be willing to move on to try to bring things back together to win another Super Bowl.
I think he got scared because he ruptured his Achilles on that play.
Definitely.
And it killed our season almost. Right. Well, it did in the long run.
Yeah. Kyle, anyone else you would want to bring in terms of like a big name free agent?
Or maybe not DD Westbrook.
Yeah.
Just I would draft a receiver and then have DD Westbrook and then have them compete for wide receiver 3.
I like the idea of competition. I like the idea of extra depth because, the crazy thing is I don't want to put any bad magic on it. But when DK Metcalf got drafted, one of his red flags was he got hurt a couple times at Ole Miss. And he hasn't gotten hurt yet in the NFL. So either that was just fake or we've just gotten really lucky.
Admittedly, I think people got really scared about his neck injury for obvious reasons. But
yeah, there are a couple of guys in this draft who I think could end up doing the same thing. Like people are scared of the injuries. If they get over the injuries, you're going to get a hell of a steal.
I think DK's combine performance, it may have helped or hurted him, but I know that like with neck injuries that's pretty scary.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They can happen in a play that you least expect it, and it can kill you if gone completely wrong.
Oh yeah. That's terrifying.
It almost happened to Ricardo Lockett.
Yeah. We remember that one.
Yeah,
we all remember that one.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ, that one. It looked like he died. Well, he almost did.
Yeah. I keep waiting for somebody to die on the football field. It hasn't happened yet. I feel like it's going to.
Happened
I feel like it has to.
A couple of times.
Not in the NFL, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah.
I know that there's that one Patriot from the 70s who got paralyzed from the neck down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. I
think that's as close. That was a completely different era.
Absolutely. I know who you're talking about, though. Okay, so Kyle, do you feel like this team is close? Like I do. I've said it a couple times in this stream. Do you feel like this team is close to being able to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think this is the best offseason we've had since 2012.
Yeah, that's probably pretty fair. The thing that gets me is the last time we had a defensive line that I was really excited about and was really hyped on was 2017.
Yeah,
and that didn't work out. Yeah, that did not work out well for us at all. I remember just thinking we got Bennett, Clark, Averill, and Sheldon Richardson.
Yeah,
it's going to be a sack party, and it didn't happen.
We kind of
you never know.
I thought we had fleeced the Jets, but it was more of like
No, we lost that trade.
Yeah, we lost it because we lost Richardson after a year, and we didn't even make the playoffs that one year. So, awful business.
Yeah, I just know that I don't think the Jets did much of anything with Jermaine Kearse.
So but they got our second-round pick.
Yep, that too.
Yeah. All right, Kyle. Anything else you wanted to discuss before I let you go?
What you think about other NFC West teams?
We do have some Cardinals fans who come around talking trash sometimes.
Yeah,
but
I know a couple from Arizona.
Yeah. And I'm like, if my team had gotten AJ Green 2 years ago, I would have been like, I don't know if this is going to work out or not. He gets hurt so much. And they're getting AJ Green now, and they're going crazy about it.
Yeah,
so
they're
I'm
going
like,
crazy over JJ too.
Yeah.
That was a bad move. 15 million is way too much for him.
And I understand JJ Watt. I understand he's still good.
He's such an iconic player.
Yeah, it's like if you signed Michael Jordan when he was 40, you would still be excited. It's probably not going to work.
That's what the Wizards fans thought. And then he kind of screwed up their team with Kwame.
Yeah. I remember that a little bit from when I was young. But anyway, I think the Niners lost a lot on defense. And there are some people who are just assuming that Javon Kinlaw is going to be good. And I think it's a little too early to do that.
I think the Colts absolutely did highway robbery with that trade, personally.
Yeah. Now, the Rams, I think the Rams are legit. I take the Rams serious. I'll give the Rams a lot of credit.
In that playoff game.
Yeah, you got to take them serious. I think the Stafford thing was an upgrade. I don't know if it was a great move, but I think it made them better right now.
Stafford is...
And...
I don't know if he was what he once was. But
but he's better than Goff. He's better than Goff. He's got to be better than Goff.
No doubt.
They did lose Brandon Stanley, though, or Brandon...
and John Johnson.
Yeah, they lost their defensive coordinator. That's big because he made their defense immediately better.
Yeah, after Wade Phillips left.
Which I didn't expect at all. I think Wade's a genius. But there you go. All right. That would be my take on the division rivals. All right, Kyle, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
I think the Niners are the Niners.
I'll see you later.
Maybe they'll be good, maybe they
won't.
All right,
see you.
Okay, I'm going to bring on, this is Spencer Smith, I think. Spencer Smith, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. How are you doing tonight?
We're doing good. I've just been, I don't know, the Alden Smith thing kind of threw me off, honestly. I was really excited.
Yeah.
And
that was not cool.
That happened. I just don't know.
Yeah, and there's also like a million little counties or parishes in Louisiana, so it's like again.
I we'll see, but it doesn't look good. I'm just gonna say that for now. It's not a done deal, but it don't look good, and it's unfortunate because he behaved for like a year with the Cowboys, and then 2 days. He spends 2 days here. It's like,
and he's already getting like 3 stars.
Yeah, it just feels to me like the Dunbar situation over again.
Dunbar was able to get off. I don't know about Alden.
Tremendous. Yeah, Dunbar got off somehow, some way. But anyway, Spencer. So I'm going to ask you. The draft is 9 days away. Free agency, we're like 6 weeks in. How do you feel about where this team stands right now, personally?
I feel good. I am definitely in the camp of people that thinks a veteran corner signing would be a good move at this point. I'm definitely. I mean, I love Sherman, huge Sherman fan, but I think Casey Hayward is a name that is overlooked a lot right now.
Casey Hayward, yeah, there you go. And there's also like Bashad Breeland. There are some guys you could get.
Yeah, and for Casey Hayward, I mean, you look at DJ Reed. So the corner mold, these taller guys, these lanky guys, I get it. That's the Seattle mold for corner.
Yeah, that's how we run things.
Yeah, I feel like DJ Reed has kind of proven that mold isn't end all be all to me, and I think. You also see DJ Reed, he showed he had the ball skills. I think, we need someone that's really more of he's got better athleticism at this point than Sherman to me.
Sherman?
Hayward, that is.
Yeah, well, here's my thing. Just because, look, Carroll needed to have a gun pointed to his head in order to bend from his cornerback formula, right? We needed to lose Shaq to an injury. We needed to lose Flowers needed to completely lose it. We lost Dunbar to an injury. And then he was like, okay, I guess we just have to put DJ Reed out there because I have no choice. And it worked out. That I don't think that means that he's suddenly going to go, you know what? I've been wrong about this thing that I've been thinking for the last 4 decades.
He's had this philosophy for decades.
Yeah. He's been around football forever. And I don't think he's going to go, okay, this one thing that I don't like to do worked one time. That means I'm suddenly going to abandon what I'm thinking. So to me, I would still be looking at prototypical Seahawks cornerbacks because I don't think Carroll's going to be able to be pushed off that.
Mm-hmm. Thing that sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead, Spencer.
So like something that stood out to me that you said was that with the pass rush looking the way it is, we would probably want stickier coverage, just enough time for them to get home, essentially. So that's kind of why I think, I don't know. I mean, obviously I know he doesn't fit the mold, but I just think Hayward with his speed right now is going to be able to stick to the corner longer, give that pass rush more time. I'm just not sure I have faith in Sherman over the top. I feel like we play a team like KC, we play a team like that, we're going to get burnt.
Yeah. But team.
Yeah. I mean, Sherman was never super fast, but he made it work. I still think he can make it work. Now, remember, we run a zone. Mm-hmm. It's less important to be super fast, more important to have good ball skills and be able to read play.
That's how he succeeded here. Up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
totally.
For 1 year in San Francisco, I guess.
Yeah, and for 1 year in San Francisco, you're right. Okay, so let me ask you one question here, Ryguy. Do you think we're close? Do you think we're really close to being able to win a Super Bowl?
I think we're top 3, possibly. Obviously, top 2 right now are the two AFC and NFC West. Maybe the Packers are better us, but I don't know about that. We kind of got screwed in that playoff game a couple years ago anyway.
Yeah, Packers are going to be good again, but...
Yeah, I know that. I don't know if we're that far behind Green Bay. Or... Tampa, they might be probably more deep. They're a deeper team than we are. But and same thing with Kansas City. But I guess, if we play them in a playoff game, then we need to show that how close we are.
Yeah, I think that every time we played the Packers since Wilson got here, the home team wins. So that's a big deal.
And both teams have a massive home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So that plays a factor. I thought Wilson would do better in Wisconsin because that's where he went to college, but no.
That's the mystery with Wilson. Why doesn't he play better in bad weather? It seems like he should be familiar with bad weather.
Yeah, for living in Wisconsin for a year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the Ducks beat him in that Rose Bowl game. That's, I think, when I first heard of him. And I guess things have gone well since.
Yeah, but got to learn how to play well in bad weather sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, Ryguy, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, man. So thanks for coming on. Yeah, you too. Right. We'll do this again after the draft. See you later. Right. Okay, I'm going to bring on... looks like we got a Sam Dog here. Okay, there we go.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm just chilling. But, man, when I saw your other video about the Aldon Smith situation, when you showed that Jarrell Casey was a free agent, that name was very intriguing to me from how good that he looked when he was in that Tennessee Titans defense, from the way they shut down the Patriots and the Ravens. And then I don't ever get why they traded him to the Broncos. Is I think he would be a good piece for our defense if we could get him on a good deal.
Yeah, at this point, I would expect almost every remaining free agent to be gettable on a good deal. There's a reason why nobody's signing them. Nobody's offering them big money. That's why I think KJ is going to end up having to come back with his tail between his legs at this rate, because nobody's going to give him any money. Yeah. So, anybody who you still see on the free agency list is probably going to be cheap. There are exceptions, but not a whole lot.
The third wave is really going to start when the draft ends. And one of those cornerbacks you mentioned earlier, the one I'm most intrigued in is bringing in Bashaud Breeland from, obviously he won a Super Bowl with Kansas City. He had one of the 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl, and he's a good cornerback to have too. Him and Casey Hayward.
Right. All right. So Spencer, how are you attacking this draft? If you are John Schneider, how would you attack this draft? Who are you into? Do you want to trade up? Do you want to trade down? Are you looking at corners, receivers? Is there any particular player that you feel like is being under discussed?
Well, realistically, I always assume that goes down. I would say most of the mocks I've seen, we either pick up an extra third coming down, and then we maybe add like a fifth or whatever. I like Paulson Adebo a lot. I don't know if it would really fall to that range, depending on how far we traded down.
I feel like he could, based off what I've seen, but there are so many good corners in this draft. I feel like there's a lot of room for people to there's a lot of room for teams to fall.
I'm concerned about the pass rush, man. We need to at least get some pass rush so we can still get pressure on the opposing quarterbacks. But the other big key is still going to have to be offensive line.
Yeah. So, yes, Spencer. Paulson Adebo was one of the many corners who slipped through the cracks for me. I did not scout him, but people pointed me out to him, and I looked at him and I was like, okay, this guy looks like a Seahawks corner to me. There are probably a good 20 corners in this draft who make sense for the Seahawks defense. They have the attributes that you typically look for. And I know maybe we're saying that's not as big a deal as it used to be because of DJ Reed, but again, I feel like that was just a situation where Carroll had a gun to his head and he had to do it. So I don't know if he would ever do that again.
Yeah.
But, okay, go ahead.
If they break from the mold, I think that one of the main reasons I'm so for getting a vet is because I think whatever guy we go after is going to be the high upside pick. So we would probably not want them in a starting position off the rip. I feel like we sign a vet, draft that corner, maybe get a center, somebody else, with those early picks. And then it depends what you see. I mean, if a certain receiver were to fall, I'm a huge Dyami Brown fan. I think
me too.
Pairing with
DK,
his route tree is similar to DK's, and that a lot of people say he was so limited coming out of college that the offense they ran, they didn't ask him to do more than what really they asked DK to do at Ole Miss in a lot of ways.
How big is the guy?
Yeah. Dyami Brown is one of my favorite players in this draft who the Seahawks could actually get. I think he's a great all-around receiver. I think he can do it all. I saw all kinds of different stuff from him when he was at North Carolina. So, Sam, how are you feeling about this draft? What are you looking at? Let me know what you think.
Past trenches and cornerback. Definitely got a lot to fix for those holes, especially after we let Griffin walk and some of those other big names. Because I'm not really big on this whole Ahkello Witherspoon after hearing that about the amount of times that he's been benched during his time with San Francisco. So the concern is there for that. The concern is there for Aldon Smith. His troubles again, which I'm really having high hopes for Darrell Taylor to really step up and play in that Sam position. Like you mentioned in your other past video that I was listening to while I was at work. I've been busy working in the warehouse lately, so my production on YouTube's kind of been limited due to work. But I've still been listening on your channel to what you think could possibly work for the team. But I'm just hoping that we can just nail this on the first go around. But my true feeling is this has to be another round where we have to nail it in the UDFA with the undrafted free agents, because Pete and John, if we know something from them in their past, they're really good at finding good undrafted free agents. The last good one we were able to snag was Poona Ford. Poona Ford has been a good acquisition in that category. So do we snag another big name that could fit well in the undrafted free agency part with the little picks that we have?
Yeah, I have looked at some guys who I don't expect to get drafted, and I have said, this makes sense to me. This makes sense for this team. Like today, and this is more of a curiosity than anything else. But Drew Himmelman, he's a 6'10" right tackle, and he's not ready to play in the NFL now. But if he could ever figure it out, that's kind of terrifying. And I'm not saying that I would bet anything on him figuring it out because he has so many issues in his game, but if you could get Drew Himmelman, at least you've got somebody to kind of stare at on the practice squad for a couple years because he's 6'10". No one else has that. So I'm on the lookout for stuff like that too.
Yeah, but his size pretty good too, because I like the height too.
Yeah. I mean, height is just kind of like the frame that you have to put more weight on.
Yeah, height's
I think.
Height's another key thing for receiver too, which I was going to ask about that North Carolina receiver you were talking about. What's his height? And then
He's
how
6
big
feet, 6 feet 195.
6
Same
foot one?
size as Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm.
I actually have that memorized because I did so much work scouting out receivers in this draft because it was so important. All right, so Spencer Smith, let me ask you. So we kind of talked about the draft. We talked about guys who made sense. Are there any free agent veterans who we haven't maybe talked about very much who you have your eye on? We've obviously talked about AB, Sherman, Wright. We've talked about Ihde. We've talked about Breland and Hayward. Does anybody do anything for you out there that you know of?
So there's been a lot of talk at D tackle. I mean, there's been a few names come out. I feel, and you may have already discussed this in the stream, but Richardson, I'm not so big on, but I thought the Mo Hurst thing was pretty intriguing just on his age alone. You look at him, he's got that pass rushing upside. He actually does remind me of Jaron Reed quite a bit when he first came. Like he's viewed primarily kind of as that run stuffing bigger guy, but he does have that upside in the pass rush. I'd be interested to see if they could get him on a couple-year deal or whatever, just to see what he could do in our system. I mean, so much talent around him, you know?
Yeah. I am really, I don't feel like we need to do more to this defensive line than we already have. To me, at a certain point, you can only give one area of the team so many resources, and then you just have to say, make it work. It's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of bringing in another running back. I kind of feel like, you gave Carson his money. You spent a first-round pick on Penny. You spent seventh-round picks on Collins and Homer. You spent a fifth-round pick on DJ Dallas. Figure it out with what you have. You've already spent enough here. I know sometimes you can't look at it like that, but I feel like with all we've done to the defensive line this offseason, we got Kerry Hyder, we brought back Mayowa, we brought in Aldon Smith. We'll see how that ends up working. We brought back Puna. I know we lost Jerron Reed, but we did bring back Dunlap. I think that you could make a pretty good argument that even without Aldon Smith, it's time to just stop spending resources on the defensive line. But when I saw some of those names on the defensive tackle list, like Geno Atkins, I was like, Geno would probably play for $1 million, and he's probably got enough left in the tank to justify that.
I think Geno to the idea of reuniting with Carlos Dunlap, which I think would be a great addition for this team, which personally, I would not mind having Geno Atkins here in Seattle. Personally, I think it would be a good addition. That and maybe possibly Jarrell Casey Jarrell Casey would be a good addition too. But we all truly don't know what we really got until we get this eye test. And one of the main questions I want to have answered this year is, are we going to get preseason this year? That's my main hope, is that we at least get an eye test to know what we truly got.
I'm sure we're going to get a preseason this year. I think we're going to get the 3-game preseason. That's what they're talking about. Okay, so Spencer, anything else you want to say real quick before I let you go? Anything else you want to go over tonight?
No, I liked what you guys are bringing up about the Amon-Ra St. Brown thing. One closing thing I'd love to say is that I love all the hype Equanimous, I think that's how you say his name, got coming out. I would love to see Packers fans just be distraught if we got his brother and he ended up working out really well for us. So
yeah, I think Amon-Ra is better than Equanimous, but it's interesting. There are quite a few draft websites where he's a 2nd-round pick or a 3rd-round pick, and then ESPN doesn't even have him listed. So I don't know what's going on with him. He's a good enough player to where a place like ESPN should be all over him in mocks, and they're just not. So maybe he ends up falling really far, and you get him in the 6th round. Stuff like that happens.
Yeah. What is the one kid's name from? Tamarian Terry is another name to look out for.
Yes, I've had that name recommended to me.
Oh my gosh, I have a crush on. That's my draft crush right there. That guy is just a freak. He attacks the ball. He's clean out of his breaks. One thing that I loved about it is even on the routes where you saw he didn't have a ton of separation, he was just out muscling guys to get that ball and bring it down. I really love that guy's game. So if you get a chance to look at him more in depth, I'd recommend.
Yeah, I've had that name recommended to me a couple times now by other Seahawks fans as well. I missed him somehow in my initial scouting, but I'm just one man working from my room, so that's what happens sometimes. But thanks for coming on tonight, Spencer. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Brendon. Have a good night.
Yeah, see you later. All right. So Sam, anything else you want to discuss?
Not really a whole lot. I think we pretty much got it all talked about and just hoping for the best. I'm just hoping to try to get more content out a little later on, but I've just been busy at work, so just keep up one man. Thanks for keeping us all updated.
All right. See you later, man.
All right. I'll see you later, man.
All right. I think this is Green Earth, Nicholas. You guys should know him from our video game streams. Nicholas, what's up?
Or Green Earth. What's up, man?
Whatever I should call you. I don't know anymore.
Just whatever you want. I don't care.
All right. So 9 days before the draft, 6 weeks deep into free agency. How do you feel?
I'm feeling great. We are going to come out right out of the gate with one of the best defenses in the league, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm going to make a video about that after the draft, about how if the defense is not immediately really good, then we need to hold some of these guys accountable, because not only did we bring in some good pieces, the foundation of the defense is still what it was last year.
Yeah.
We brought in a new defensive end. We did bring in a new cornerback. We brought in one or two other new players, but it's mostly the core from last year, so they should be ready to play with each other.
Yeah, the continuity is there if you're looking at the front seven, especially if we decide to bring back KJ. It's pretty much going to be a lot of the same pieces as last year. It's just going to be upgrades. And I don't think the chemistry is going to be too upset like last year, where we brought in 20 million different people and they just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. I will say this, that it looks like the team has decided to keep Ken Norton for at least one more year. If the defense does not produce the first few weeks, then we're going to really regret that, because there's no excuse for what happened last year to happen this year.
Yeah, right out of the gate, I want to see us. I know Russ is like the strength of the team, but we have Chris Carson. We're bringing in like the new Shane Waldron offense with the 2 tight end sets. We should be absolutely smashing people in the run game and completely shutting them down in the pass. We should be, if Pete Carroll wants to do that sort of stuff and the situation calls for it, we can do that very, very, very well.
Right. All right. I think this is T-Man here. All right. I'm going to bring T-Man in. Welcome to the stream, buddy.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everyone else. We've got like 9 days before the draft. We're 6 weeks deep into free agency. How do you feel about where the team is right now?
I'm feeling pretty good about the defense. The pass rush is definitely going to help the secondary. So, but then the offense, the Waldron scheme, I think he's gonna go towards running the football just a bit more.
And
it's
possible.
Yeah, and I think we could see a real big breakout from Disley and Everett.
We do know that Waldron likes his tight ends. One thing I'm going to make a video on after the draft, this is another thing I'm going to kind of make a video on, about how even though we see all the talent on this offense, they might not get it immediately. It might be a while before the offense really starts to click, just because it's a new system. And I'm going to draw like an example with the first year of the Matt LaFleur Packers. The first year Matt LaFleur was on the Packers, their offense was average. And then the next year it was the best offense in the league. So
maybe some of that to some extent, but almost all of the same pieces are still there. So like a waiting time of maybe half a year is acceptable. Us going into the postseason and still completely failing isn't because, it's just because of Waldron. We seen that with the Bucks last year. around mid-season, they were getting their shit together and not being terrible, because you don't need a full year to adapt to a new system.
Yeah, you would hope not. And the Packers had things going pretty well by the end of the season for them. Not really in the NFC title game, but that was separate issues that contributed to that. So I think it would be reasonable to say that the offense should start clicking by November or maybe December. But I am aware of the fact that we might have to be a little patient with those guys. Even though it's mostly the same players, it's just going to be a new scheme. And it looks like we're going to be doing things very differently from the way we did things with Schottenheimer. Mm-hmm. All right. So, Nicholas, I'll go to you real quick. Who are you targeting in this draft? What makes sense to you right now? Because I know we've kind of gone back and forth.
Right now, on a point where it's like a really good tight end, like Pat Freiermuth or maybe Tommy Trimble, maybe, or like one of the better corners, or we just trade down. Because for me, we definitely need more tight end depth. You say we need more wide receiver depth. I was thinking about that. If we're moving over to the Shane Waldron scheme, 2 deep at tight end is not good enough. And we need a person that's going to be able to start in capacity.
Yeah. So I'm kind of over the Disley party. I think he's just too slow now, and I don't think there's anything he can do about it. So I kind of agree.
Yeah, either that or we trade down, because the value, if we can't get very good value and a position in need, then we just trade down, because every single year you need a certain amount of rookies to just replenish the stock, and a certain amount of lottery tickets every single year in order to just maintain form.
Right. I think that's fair. I think this team is pretty close, though. I think I would rather have a couple really good tickets than 10 not so good ones. But I understand what you're saying with that for sure. My issue is that we are one injury away from Freddie Swain being our number 2 wide receiver, and I can't live with that. I can't abide by that.
Maybe.
All right. So, T-Man, what do you want to do in this draft? We're 9 days away. Are there any players that you really like? Any positions you really like? What's your positional? What's your thoughts on the draft in general?
I do really want to draft a corner. I have 3 corners that I really like. It's that one corner that you like. It's like Efiatu Malinawefu.
Melifonwu. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
he's very good.
Someone that we can get. Yeah, someone we can get in like the 4th round. I think Trill Williams. He's
Trill.
pretty tall.
Yeah, I know of him. Yeah.
And then like a late round draft pick.
Yeah, I like Tay Gowan in the late rounds. There's Mark Gilbert. By the way, I talked about him a little bit before, but Mark Gilbert had an incredible year like 3 years ago at Duke, and then he can't stay healthy. But he might be a sleeper if he can somehow figure out his health issues. So just keep an eye on that, because he had like 6 interceptions in one season for Duke a few years ago. Just something to keep in mind. And he's not expected to get drafted.
I don't know. We sort of had this debate-ish sort of thing. Rookie corners coming out. The past few years, every single rookie corner has been absolutely fucking smashed. They've been taken to Pound Town. They've gone upside down all around. So I wouldn't, if you're taking a guy to be the most immediate upgrade corner, might not be the place.
I don't know if that's entirely true. For a lot of teams it is, but Carroll has proven he knows how to do this. Sherman played pretty well as a rookie. Shaq did. Trey Flowers did. I think Maxwell did. I can't remember if he got on the field as a rookie or not. Even Thorold Simon honestly looked pretty decent. And I don't know. To me, I just kind of look at this and I'm like, okay, this is one of the things that Carroll is good at. Let's let him do it, because there are a lot of things he's not good at and we have to live with it. So let's at least try to give him the opportunity to do something he is good at.
Who did we bring in from the 49ers again?
Akello Witherspoon,
Witherspoon.
He's a prototypical Carroll type corner. What he typically has done better in man, which is really interesting because we run zones. So that's worth talking about.
Maybe he's just planning to put him on an island when there's like a trip set. There's like 3 receivers on one side, 1 receiver on the other side. Maybe he's planning to put him against that, but usually the one person's really good, so I might be nervous.
Yeah. I don't mind letting Carroll try to figure this kind of stuff out because I think he's pretty good at this stuff. To my recollection, he's gotten one corner on this team over the years who just completely failed, and it was Kerry Williams. He was so bad we just had to cut him before the end of the season. We brought him in on a pretty big contract, and we were just like, no, we can't do nothing with you. But other than that, he's had pretty good senses here. Like Justin Coleman, he traded a 7th round pick for, and he turned Coleman into a dude who signed a $35 million contract a couple years later. All right, so T-Man, outside of the draft, is there anything else you would like to do? Because I've said it before, I'll say it again. We still have some money. So are there any veterans who have caught your eye?
Not really. People want to sign Sherman. I just don't think he has anything left.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I like Ihde Westbrook. He's kind of young. Off my mind, AB. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think AB is worth the risk, but I can understand. Good.
The only thing bad about AB is that I still can't trust him, like with his off the field issues.
Yeah, he's not to be trusted.
And I've seen some trade rumors about Tayshaun Hamilton from the Broncos and Anthony Miller from the Bears. But
I heard about the Anthony Miller thing. Yeah, that's actually interesting because he's not a bad player. He's just had bad quarterbacks. I think Anthony Miller is probably a pretty good player.
I don't know. I think trade target Seahawks aren't the best. I don't feel like we can trade away any more draft capital without like completely flushing the entire next 5 years down the toilet. And also, like, what veteran are we going to trade him? People said Lockett a whole bunch before, but now that we just extended him, we can't trade him really.
Well, the thing is, Anthony Miller is probably going to cost like a 7th round pick. The Bears will be happy just to get something for him because it's not working out. So I think that's on the table at least. I even heard JJ Arcega-Whiteside, which, that dude's completely worthless, but there was talk that the Eagles might be willing to give him up for like a 7th round pick. So that's also something worth at least considering for a second. All right, so Green Earth, I'm going to go to you one last time. Anything else you want to talk about this team? Anything else you want to say while we're here?
Nah, I can't really think of too much.
All right. I mean, I think we're close, man. I don't know about you, but I think we're really close to being able to compete for a title. I'm not saying we're the best team, but I think we're pretty good.
No, I would Seahawks defense, sleeper fantasy pick.
I hope so, man.
Compared to last year.
Remember to take the ball away.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'll see you soon.
See ya.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry about that, T-Man. Okay, I'm going to bring in, I think this is Jose. All right.
Yeah.
Jose, you there?
Yeah.
How you doing,
man? Can you hear me? Good.
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
All right, I'm doing good.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, let me address this. Why trade for a guy to the Eagles? Yeah, I'm doing good. Let me address this comment real quick. Yeah, I'm not saying we should trade for him. We should absolutely not trade for him, but I was just saying he was like somebody who was floated as someone you could get for like literally a 7th round pick. Okay, so Jose, so how do you feel about this team with 9 days before the draft?
Defensively, I feel fucking... Can I curse here? Can I...
Yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it. You're good.
I feel... Defensively, I feel fucking bad. Fantastic. on the offensive side, I'm fucking
Yeah.
word. Third receiver. And our O-line is still a little iffy. So I have 3 players I want to see off the target. 1, Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore.
2, Devo. 3 is David Moore, offensive guard from Grambling State, I believe.
Him a little.
If they can get one of those 3, I will be happier than a pig in mud.
Yeah, I may make a video about this at some point, but I think you can make an argument that the Seahawks are, to a certain extent, a little dangerously ignoring the offense in favor of building up their defense. And that's the kind of stuff that might have irritated Wilson in the first place, that might have caused our team to become a little unbalanced. Yeah. And I don't know if you can say we're ignoring the offense, but I feel like we could be doing more on it. So that's fair, I think.
I can say we're ignoring. Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of truth to that. Yeah. We could have upgraded at center, didn't do it. We could have upgraded at number 3 receiver. So far, haven't done it. Could have upgraded tight end 2, haven't done it. These are things that I'm kind of looking at going into the draft to see if maybe we could still find a way to do it. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
One other guy I like that you did a video about was Brevin Jordan out of the U. So if we can
Brevin
get
Jordan,
him,
yeah. I like Brevin Jordan too.
If we can get him, I'll be happy.
Mm-hmm. He's a good athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So T-Man, let me go back to you here real quick, man. How do you think this team is close? Do you think this team is close the way that I was saying that it was? How do you close do you think this team is?
I don't think they make it to the NFC Championship or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do make it to the divisional round. I think the Rams are still better than us because of the defense, and they pretty much improved the offense. And if the Niners can stay healthy, they can really be good.
Yeah, they could be. My thing with the Niners is that even if they stay healthy, they lost a lot on defense. They lost Saleh. They lost, I know he didn't play last year, but Sherman. They haven't really done anything to replace DeForest Buckner yet. The one thing I can say for the Niners, though, if they get a real quarterback, it could be game over because that's how good Shanahan could be with a real good quarterback. So, to me, that can overcome a lot of the problems they have otherwise with that team because they have issues with that team. They have problems, but you get them like a top 8, top 6 quarterback, you're not going to notice those problems. That's what happened with the Falcons the year they went to the Super Bowl. They had Matt Ryan, they had Kyle Shanahan, and Matt Ryan, who is a good quarterback, but not an all-time great quarterback, won the MVP. Mm-hmm. All right, so
Go
ahead.
I've heard some rumors that even if the Niners draft a QB with the 3rd overall pick, they're still gonna start Jimmy G.
Oh, really? Okay, that would be very odd. Yeah, I believe that the greatest asset in football right now is a good quarterback on a rookie contract. So if you draft a quarterback and you have him on that rookie deal, play him every single game. Do not waste that asset. The Browns tried to do that with Baker Mayfield, and it drove me crazy. I was like, just get Baker out there now. What are you waiting for? You believed in him enough to take him number 1 overall. Believe in him enough to put him out on the field week 1. So if the Niners take a Justin Fields and don't start him from week 1, that, I'm not going to complain about it because I don't care about the Niners, but I think that's a very bad idea. Okay. Jose.
The only possible scenario
Okay, I'll come back to you later, T-Man. Okay, so Jose, so that's the draft, basically.
Right.
Do you want to do anything else in free agency? Because there are still guys out there.
Casey Hayward. Yeah,
Casey Hayward.
Antonio Brown. Golden Tate. You could sell me on Shem, but I'm not bringing back KJ. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love KJ, but the shine is off the penny.
Yeah. I just don't want him to take away playing time from somebody else. That's the thing. Even if he plays for a hot dog, I don't want him to take away playing time from these players who I want to see. I want to see what Jordan Brooks can do. I want to see what Darrell Taylor can do. I even kind of want to see what Cody Barton can do, even though
I'm not with you on Barton, but
yeah,
the other two I agree.
Okay, that's fair enough. A lot of people would agree with you on that. Barton probably is, he probably is what he is at this point, but I'm also thinking about just like, can we figure out for sure before we have to actually let him go? I don't want it to be like almost what happened with Posick, where he never got to play his natural position until his contract year. So yeah.
I honestly think BBK would go before we let go of Barton.
Yeah, you're probably right. BBK has only ever really played special teams. For some reason, I don't think BBK will ever be good on defense. I just don't see it with him. I think he's a pure special teamer, but maybe we'll have a happy surprise there.
I don't think so, because I've seen BBK and he is Russell Wilson's height. That is not good.
Yeah. Okay. So T-Man, anything else you wanted to talk about or discuss tonight? Anything else you want to go over?
No, I think that's it.
All right, man. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. I will. I'll be doing this again soon. Hope to see you there, and see you later. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in. I think this is probably the last guy of the night. TN Avon. He's been around my channel for a long time. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
All right. I think you called in the last couple times we did this, so you know how this works.
Yeah.
So just tell me in general how you're feeling about this team. We got 9 days before the draft. How do you feel?
I'm I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think we just need, I was listening to you earlier. I agree with you. I think we're almost there. I think we're, a couple pieces away. So for me, I actually kind of like Ahkello Witherspoon and Trey Flowers, kind of like what you said. I think we should let Pete Carroll do what he does best. He can take a corner and turn him into a starting caliber corner. He did it with Deshaun Shedd. There's plenty of examples.
Well, Sherman's the all-time example. Sherman, nobody cared about Sherman.
And I think altogether. So for me, I do think we need a corner. I'm one of the Seahawks fans that I think we should bring in Sherman. I think he knows the system. I think he'd be a good fit, and I think he could still play. I'm not saying he could play at a really, really high level, but I think if he sits in a zone like he did, like we know how to use him. Pete Carroll knows how to use him. I think we should bring in Sherman. But if you had to, if I had to weigh it, I'd rather have AB just because.
Yeah. My thinking on that is it's time to give some attention to this offense, kind of like what I was just saying. We've spent all these resources on the defense. we built up a defense that is pretty loaded with talent.
Yeah.
Okay, can we remember the fact that Wilson already kind of got pissed off at us already about this? Like, do we really want to do this again where he doesn't get the support he needs and we have to deal with more stuff next offseason? We don't want that. All right, so Jose, I'm going to go back to you. All right, I'm going to go back to you real quick. Here's a question I haven't asked anybody else, but I want to ask you about it. What do you think is going on with Jamal Adams? Do you think we're going to extend him? Do you think it's going to happen after the draft? What's going on with that?
I really think we need to extend him, considering we gave up 2 first-round picks for him. If we just let him walk, it makes us look really, really stupid. So I would extend him tomorrow if I could.
Yeah. I made a video about it not that long ago. We got to do something about Jamal because he's only going to get more expensive, and the tag for keeping him is only going to get more expensive. So I don't know what the holdup is at this point. There's no way he wants to play on a contract here. There's no way the way he plays, he's going to be okay with just being, okay, I have no long-term security, but I'm going to throw myself around like a bowling ball.
No, hell no.
No, nobody wants to do that, but especially not him. Especially not him.
You saw the way. You saw the way he left New York. Don't let him do that to us.
Exactly. Yeah, let's just not turn into the Jets. Let's not be like that. That's for sure. All right, so okay, go ahead, Jose.
All right, Brendon. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
And also, if you guys wanna look on my channel, feel free. Like Brendon, only my name Jose Rodriguez. So,
all right.
Brendon, thanks for having me.
No problem.
And go home.
All right. See you later. Okay. TN Avon. So this draft, have you studied it very much? Do you have any players that you really like in this draft?
So, I personally want us to take, knowing the Seahawks, we all know Seahawks, John Snyder, Pete Carroll, we all know what they do. They like to trade down. For me, I think we should take a center. I think we have to bring in competition for Ethan Posick. I'm not really okay with Ethan. I think he played okay, but I'm not really okay with him being there. I think I would have loved to upgrade at the center position. So I think, I really like Landon Dickerson if he's there. Don't know or Creed Humphrey. I also like, a couple corners, like Tyson Campbell. I think that you mentioned him.
Yes.
I love him. And there was another guy I think you mentioned one of the videos. I forgot, but I really liked him. I don't know.
There are so many corners in this draft. It's not even funny. There's Israel Mukamu. There's Eric Stokes. There's
Eric Stokes.
Yeah.
I
don't think Eric Stokes is getting past like number 50, but if he does,
that's what I'm
I
saying.
don't think I can resist because he runs a 4.2540. That's freaky stuff.
No, I watched your video on that, and then I went and watched him. I like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah, but he might be out of our reach. But if he's there somehow, make it happen, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you about center. The thing that kind of gets me is I feel like the opportunity to upgrade at center already kind of passed us by because there were so many good centers in free agency.
You're right.
And I'll give it to you. Lindsley was probably a little too expensive. I get it. But there was Ted Karras. There was David Andrews. There was Rodney Hudson. And it didn't seem like we were that interested.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe this team really likes Posick, right or wrong. Maybe they like this draft for centers better than I do because I don't like it very much at all. But it was very weird to me because I think David Andrews signed for like $4 million a year. And I was like, we could have done that.
I saw that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. That was really weird. I think I read something about I don't know if we were in on him, but he just didn't want to move to Seattle or something like that. I think I read something about that.
Yeah, that is one thing that you can't account for when you're trying to do free agency stuff and sign these players. They might just not want to come. Different sport, but I remember back in the day, Lamar Odom, the Blazers offered him twice what the Lakers did, but he still went to the Lakers because he didn't want to live in Portland. He wanted to live in LA.
Yeah.
So you never know how that stuff's going to come out, but there were guys, man. I mean, even Austin Blythe signed a veteran minimum contract. You could have gotten him.
Yeah.
You could have gotten a couple other guys, but I just remember thinking I really like the guards in this draft, and I really like the centers in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like we're going the other way. We're going to get a guard in a trade, and then we're going to draft a center, and I don't know if I love it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Seahawks, and I'm honestly one of those people who I actually think Ethan Posick is a little bit better than people think he is. I think he had a decent season.
He was playing very well until he got the concussion, I think, and then things kind of went off the rails.
But it's like you said, we could have upgraded,
Yeah, and if you can get better in a season like this, why wouldn't you? And I think that we blew the opportunity to get a little better there, or even a lot better. I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't have structured a contract to make it work with Lindsley. Now, it would have been uncomfortable, but we would have had one of the best centers in the league for the next several years. That's not bad. So the center thing's very interesting. I can't shake I get the feeling that Waldron is looking at him and being like, okay, he's not great, but I think he can work in my system.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because he's not very strong. He's not a very good run blocker. He's a little weak. He gets bowled over, but maybe he feels like if I can get him in space. That's the only thing that makes sense to me at this point. And I can live with it. I just wish we were spending resources somewhere on offense.
Yeah.
Receiver, tight end, whatever.
Yeah, no, I would, I really would love to take the chance. I'm one of the guys who actually, I want to go for AB. I do. I think, you saw him go to Tampa, and it looks like Tom Brady kind of kept him under control, kind of, helped with that. I think Russell Wilson could do the same thing, but who knows these days, but
yeah, it depends on what AB cares about right now. He is 35 years old. Maybe he doesn't even care if he gets the ball 20 times a game. Maybe he just wants to get the ball a few times and win.
Yeah.
You don't know. Okay, final guy we're going to bring in tonight. This is Austin Roberts. Austin, how's it going? I saw you popping in and out a little earlier. I know you were having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Oh, okay.
I got you.
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. How you feeling about the team, man? We got 9 days, and then we got the draft. How do you feel about this team as it stands?
I feel like so far we've had a pretty good off season, because you got to remember we actually had less we had less to work with this year than we did last year, and last year we kind of wasted it on Greg Olsen, and so I feel like we upgraded the defensive line. I feel like, I like the moves that we've made so far in the off season, but I don't think we're done yet. I think we're like a piece or two away, but I felt like last off season we kind of didn't improve, and I feel like this year we are at least making the effort to get better, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
We definitely are. I mean, I thought we were completely done on the defensive line, and we were just like, no, we're going to bring in Aldon Smith too. Now, Aldon Smith may never play for us, but we tried. We made an effort, and I really appreciate that. And if Aldon Smith goes, don't be shocked if we bring in somebody else, like an Everson Griffin. It seems like we're interested in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Daryl Taylor might be good. Like,
I like Daryl Taylor a lot.
Last year, so
I'm excited.
He was hurt. So
Daryl Taylor's very talented.
That's another.
Yeah. Okay, so TN Avon, anything else you wanted to talk about the Seahawks? Anything else going through your mind right now? With what this team can do?
Not really. Go for AB, and
yeah.
I just want to say I really want to give a hand, I want to like congratulate Pete and John Schneider, because I think they've done an amazing job this offseason with the amount of money that we started with and everything that we've done. I think they really have been pushing. I love the Gabe Jackson signing. That's probably my favorite free agent signing, just being honest. But yeah, so that's.
Yeah, there has been a lot of effort this offseason, I think. I don't know if it'll work or not, but there's been some good effort this offseason, and I'm here for it. I think that I said last year that if the team did not make at least the NFC title game, I wanted some major people to get fired.
Yeah.
But the way in which that season ended was so unexpected. The fact that it was the offense that fell apart, it kind of made me have to reevaluate that. And now here we are, and it seems like the team is taking this more seriously than they have in a while. So yeah.
Yeah. And I also like how like we got someone like Akil Witherspoon. Well, for cheap. We got Gerald Everett for cheap. Like, we're not overpaying for people.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing. Well, I would have liked us to probably upgrade at center, because the draft. I've been watching some of your videos, and you don't really like the centers in this draft, and I really don't either. But
they're not bad. I want to stress one thing real quick. They're not bad. I just don't think they fit.
Yeah, and when I was listening to talk radio, they were saying how like we need to get the guy from Oklahoma. What is this?
That would be Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Like, well, I feel like Posick is good, but I feel like if you had the chance to upgrade, well, you should do it. But like, I feel like that time is kind of past, and like, well, with the amount of draft picks that we have, like, I would like to see us go after a corner, because this draft is loaded at corner.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. There are a lot of corners in this draft who Carroll specifically will value more than the average coach, I think. So that's kind of exciting. And I do want to address one comment here. Week2K says, "Where's all this love for the front office coming from? Where have the Seahawks upgraded? I only count 3 positions. What am I missing?" Well, I think there's also something to be said for the positions where we've stayed as good. Like, for instance, running back, we were able to bring back Carson on a very reasonable contract.
For cheap.
We were able to bring back Carson for cheap. We didn't get better at cornerback, but we did give Ahkello Witherspoon a very cheap contract. I think that counts for something. Poona Ford got a contract that was less than I expected him to get. We did some other pretty good things as well, I think. It's not always about getting better at every position. There are some positions we were fine at, and we managed to maintain equilibrium. So I think there's something there.
The pricing.
Yeah, exactly. So, T.N. Avon, I want to thank you for coming out tonight.
Yeah.
But
hey, congratulations on 3,000. Keep going.
Yeah. We just keep on going up, man. We're past 3,200 now. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. We'll do this again in a couple weeks.
Yeah. You guys have a good night.
See ya.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, Austin. So any of these free agents do anything for you, Austin? Let me ask you that next, because we've got quite a few still out there who might be interesting. Who intrigues you?
I feel like so like if you wanted to take a center in the draft, then I would say probably sign Richard Sherman. But but if you decide to take one of the younger corners, then I would say probably try to get a center. Well, not that I think Posick is bad, but if you have a chance to upgrade, and then maybe Antonio Brown, because right now we are missing a we are missing wide receiver 3. And
yeah, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be these exact players, but there are guys like Austin Ryder. He's the center who might be worth keeping an eye on. Instant free agency. In free agency, also, Golden Tate, and I know that's probably not going to work out well for us. That's probably dead on arrival, but Golden Tate. Some people said Larry Fitzgerald. I'm not into that, but there are a couple of other guys you could get there as well. D.D. Westbrook.
Those are guys. Yeah, those are not the bad options, but I think because last year we were close to signing AB, so I think this year we should definitely try to pull the trigger if we're in that full position, because we thought that we had Josh Gordon last year, and look, that got us,
Yeah, this keeps happening though, doesn't it? Josh Gordon, Quentin Dunbar, Alden Smith. It's getting out of control, and I think you could make a good argument that if we had Josh Gordon against the Packers, we would have beaten the Packers in the playoff game a couple years ago, because the number 3 receivers and number 4 receivers in that game did nothing. David Brown and Malik Turner both did nothing in that game.
Yeah. Well, and I also feel like if we had a healthy Chris Carson, or if we had an 80% with Chris Carson, we would have won against the Packers.
That too.
Well, we probably would have lost to the 49ers, but at least we would have gotten to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah. I'm not going to get too upset about any season that ends in the NFC title game. That's hard to do. It's hard to get to the NFC title game, and even harder to get past it. I understand that sometimes that's the best you can do, but I think that if we had a healthy Josh Gordon, you could have made the argument that we would have gone to the NFC title game 2 years ago. And honestly, last year, who knows? I'm not saying that number 3 receiver was the problem last year, but I know Josh Gordon's better than David Moore.
Yeah, and then Moore got hurt down the stretch.
He might have been playing through that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And, I really hope that at the end of this year, I'm not saying, we would have made the Super Bowl if we had Alden Smith, because it doesn't look like we're going to have him. So anything else you want to say about the Seahawks and what we could do and what we have done, Austin? Anything else you want to go over?
Probably, so we only have 3 picks this year in the draft, and so we're probably most likely going to trade down. But if we can get a really good corner in the second or third round, I would definitely take that, because I feel I like Reed, but I feel like if we can get a corner too, because I think that's the one area that we are missing right now. But if we keep trading back, you're going to end up with practice squad players that are not going to really help. Help this team, and I feel like this team is a piece or 2 away, and I don't want to have another.
Kind of what I keep saying.
Christmas.
My thing with DJ Reed, I know he played pretty well last year, but I am taller than DJ Reed. I am an inch taller than DJ Reed. I don't like that. That doesn't make me feel good,
Yeah. I feel like. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I feel like if he was out there for the majority of the game, I feel like teams would start to take advantage of of his size, and they'll probably have a 6'5" receiver up against him, and that's what they would probably
not gonna win.
Yeah.
But interesting times.
But he does play hard though.
Yeah. No. I got nothing bad to say about him. And he did much better than I thought he was going to last year, but there's only so long you can do that before you start regretting it.
Yeah, exactly.
It starts coming back to hurt you.
Yeah, and I feel like teams will have a little more tape on him this year than they did last year.
That too. All right, man. Thank you for calling in tonight. You're our final guest. Probably going to do this in a few weeks, so you can come back on then, and we'll talk about what happens after the draft. But thank you for coming on tonight, man.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Well, congrats on 3,000 subscribers. I remember when I first saw your channel, you had like 760.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's been growing a lot faster than I thought it was going to. That's for sure. All right, man.
Yep.
All right. I will see you on the stream. I will see you on the channel.
All right.
And yeah, have a good evening.
You too. See you, Brandon.
See you. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of the call-in stream. We went a little over 2 hours, so that's pretty good. Next time we do this, we might be talking about the aftermath of the draft because we will definitely have at least a few picks to talk about. Hopefully, we'll have some good UDFAs, and I'll let people on, and they'll talk about what they see with the draft. So thank you for coming out. Give me a little bit of time, and I will start playing Strikers again. And we can talk more about the Seahawks stuff while I'm playing Strikers. But for now, that's going to do it. Thank you for coming out and watching. See y'all later.